Senator Baldwin.
Thank you. So I want to begin by discussing the Trump administration's actions to halt thousands of NIH grants and billions of dollars in NIH research funding. So canceled study sections and, importantly, advisory council meetings mean that NIH cannot award grants to fund critical medical research. Additionally, the administration attempted to illegally cap indirect costs. You've already gotten several questions about that. The indirect cost rates, and this is in blatant defiance of appropriations law, which prohibits NIH from capping these costs. I'm the ranking member of the Labor HHS Appropriations Subcommittee, and I've been raising the alarm about this for weeks now. On Monday, I revealed that the Trump administration has halted $65 million in funding for Alzheimer's disease, stopping 14 Alzheimer's disease research centers from finding ways to treat and prevent this devastating disease. If NIH does not reverse course on these really disastrous decisions, the centers will run out of funding at the end of April. So, Dr. Bhattacharya, do you agree with President Trump that NIH should stop funding for research on cancer and Alzheimer's disease?
Senator, I don't believe President Trump has that as a priority. And I, of course, I was not.
Actions are accomplishing that right now.
Senator, if confirmed, I will follow the law, as I said to Senator Collins, on the indirect cost recovery. And my commitment is to make sure that every single researcher at the NIH, every single researcher supported by NIH money has the resources they need to do their life-saving research.
We're going to talk more about those researchers who've been fired, but right now, this administration has halted funding for 14 Alzheimer's disease research centers. Do you agree with that decision?
Senator, I don't have access to that information from outside. If confirmed, I absolutely will look into it and make sure that
I know that you're not consulting with people at NIH pending your confirmation proceedings here, but you're not unaware that this is happening, and you should have a position on this. I mean, you've accepted President Trump's nomination, and you're watching these actions taking place in an organization that you may someday lead. Do you agree with the stripping away of funding this for cancer and Alzheimer's disease?
Senator, if I'm confirmed, I will make sure that the NIH researchers and the NIH researchers that's funded by the NIH, outside the NIH, have the resources they need to make sure that they do their research. That's the mission of the NIH. If I'm confirmed, that my job will be to make sure that mission is met.
So moving on, I'm concerned about how the administration's recent actions are putting especially early stage researchers at risk. We talked about that when you visited with me in my office. In the year 2016, I worked with Senator Collins to enact the Next Generation Researchers Act. And since then, NIH has increased funding for early stage investigators. But now these researchers are precisely the ones being targeted by the Trump administration and Elon Musk in his unelected, unaccountable capacity. So due to the NIH funding freeze, university admissions for graduate students have slowed or even stopped. Postdoctoral fellows can't find jobs to launch their research careers. President Trump and Elon Musk have fired nearly 1,200 NIH employees so far, including hundreds of scientists conducting life-saving research. They put the rest of them on notice that more reductions in force are coming, and new restrictions from Trump and Musk could push out about 3,000 of the most promising early career researchers by refusing to renew their positions. This is the institute that you may be running. These actions threaten an entire generation of scientists. They threaten our future as a global leader in biomedical research. They threaten our future health and our ability to fight diseases. And frankly, they threaten our national security. So, Dr. Bhattacharya, you've said that as NIH director, you want to increase support for the next generation of scientists. How will you repair the damage and support early career researchers?
Could you please answer quickly because we're now over time?
Sure. Just very, very briefly, I'm very committed to making sure early career researchers have resources. I think that it's not just for their own sake, but also because they have ideas that are at the cutting edge.
So you'll hire them back?
Senator, I wasn't involved in any of the personnel decisions to date. If I look very carefully at the personnel decisions,
Thank you. And for the record, funding has not been canceled. The meeting to allocate it, the funding has been delayed, but just for the record. Senator Marshall.
Well, thank